Choosing a Dubai foundation often comes down to balancing control, protection, and flexibility. Business owners, family offices, and wealth management professionals want a structure that protects assets without giving up the flexibility. Within DIFC Foundations, one question comes up again and again. What powers does the founder actually have? And how much real control can you keep without undermining compliance or the structure itself? So in this video, we'll clarify exactly where the founder stands inside a DIFC foundation and how that position can work to your advantage when the rules are properly understood. Before we start, my name is Shiraz Waheed and I'm the founder at Lipitus Wealth, where we help our clients with asset protection and succession planning. And if you would like us to help you with the same, you can request a free and customized asset protection plan by clicking the link in the description below that you can then implement step by step on your own timeline. The term founder in the DIFC Foundation context simply means the person or entity that creates a foundation. Unlike a shareholder or a settler in other legal systems, the founder's role is unique. Once the foundation is established, ownership of these assets passes from the founder to the foundation itself, which becomes a separate legal entity. But the founder can retain important reserved powers. The founder's core power is usually set out in the foundation's charter and bylaws at the time of establishment. This can include the power to appoint or remove members of the council, which is the body responsible for managing the foundation's affairs. In practice, that means the founder often determines who sits on the council, who manages the assets, and even to some extent, how the key decisions are made. If you are structuring a family foundation, for example, you might choose to reserve the right to appoint or remove council members for as long as you wish. This can be highly valuable when you want to maintain oversight as the family needs evolves, or as business interests change over time. In international practice, this kind of founder-driven control is one of the most attractive features for business owners or family offices coming from regions where succession laws are rigid or asset holding companies are tightly regulated. The ability to keep a trusted advisor or family member on the council or to step in personally if circumstances change provides a level of comfort and flexibility that is hard to find in other structures. Another significant power is the ability to amend the foundation's charter or bylaws. The founder can choose to reserve this right completely or limit it to certain situations, such as adding new beneficiaries, changing the foundation's purpose, or updating the investment policies. This flexibility allows the foundation to adapt to new realities, whether that's succession planning, tax changes, or the sale of an asset. It's also possible for the founder to retain the right to revoke or dissolve the foundation, though this is less common in sophisticated planning. That's because a foundation with fully revocable structure may not offer the strong asset protection. In fact, if you retain too much power, courts and creditors could argue that the assets are not truly beyond your reach, which defeats the point of setting up the foundation for protection of the assets in the first place. Sometimes founders' reserve powers extend to approving distribution and certain key transactions. For example, approving the sale of core holding or appointment of new beneficiaries under particular circumstances. This sort of conditional power is often written in first generation wealth, where the founder is actively involved in business or investment strategy, but also wants to ensure a smooth transition to the next generation when the time comes. A more balanced approach is often preferred. Many founders keep enough reserve powers to guide and oversee the foundation, but delegate day-to-day management to council. Sometimes a guardian is also appointed. This is a separate party whose job is to ensure the council is acting in line with the founder's wishes and the foundation's charter. The founder can also reserve the right to appoint or remove the guardian as well. For families with global ties, the option to include a protector or to create checks and balances between the council, the guardian, and the founder is a major upside. If you are managing assets in different jurisdictions or have beneficiaries in several countries, it can be crucial to keep these roles clearly defined, but also flexible enough to deal with unexpected developments such as changes in the tax law or family circumstances. All these powers, however, come with legal boundaries. The DIFC Foundation's law is clear that a foundation is a separate legal person, not just an extension of the founder. Abuse of reserved powers or excessive interference can undermine the structure, expose assets, or trigger tax or reporting problems in other countries. That's why it's crucial to get the drafting right at the first place and to review reserved powers if your circumstances change. It's worth noting that global banks and professional advisors are increasingly attentive to how the powers are reserved and exercised in the foundation. If your foundation will be be opening bank accounts, managing investments, or interacting with regulatory authorities in different countries, you need to show genuine separation of ownership and control. Bankers and regulators look for clear governance. Who can sign, who can approve a distribution, and who can amend the document if needed. This level of transparency is part of what gives Dubai Foundations their international credibility and make them so attractive compared to older secrecy-based offshore models. Global families and entrepreneurs often want to know if they can use a Dubai Foundation, retain control while achieving solid legal separation. In reality, you can design a structure so the founder retains enough to say protect the family's interests, manage succession, or safeguard business assets without crossing the line into structures that could be challenged or misused. Let's take a practical scenario. Suppose you are a founder establishing a DIFC Foundation to hold shares in family business. You might reserve the power to remove any council member who no longer align with your vision, but you could delegate investment decisions to a professional counsel. You could also retain the ability to add or remove beneficiaries. For example, in case of a new marriage or birth of a grandchild. This kind of flexibility is hard to replicate with traditional trust, especially in common law offshore centers. If you are considering a philanthropic foundation or one designed for multi-generational wealth, you might set up powers so that after your lifetime, the right to appoint council members passes to a trusted advisor or even a committee. This way, you balance the founder influence with continuity and good governance over the long term without sacrificing asset protection. On the other hand, if founder is seeking absolute secrecy or personal control over every decision, a foundation may not be the right fit. DIFC foundations are designed to be transparent, compliant, and internationally respected. The more you can show a proper separation of personal and foundation assets, the stronger your protection will be if ever challenged in court or by tax authorities. Increasingly, we are seeing families and business owners from the UK, Europe, Asia, and Africa choosing Dubai foundations for precisely these reasons. The ability to tailor founder powers and governance while still meeting international standards for reporting, banking, and succession. If you are comparing options, consider how the founder's role in DIFC Foundation allows you to stay actively involved, but within the framework that global banks, regulators, and counterparties will accept. The founder's powers in DIFC Foundation can be as strong or as limited as you design them, but always within the law. With careful drafting of the charter and bylaws, you can retain meaningful oversight, adapt to change, and still benefit from the robust asset protection that Dubai's foundations are known for. The key is understanding where control ends and where the protection begins. And if you would like our help in setting up a UAE-based family foundation, you can request your free and customized asset protection plan using the link in the description below. Well, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video.